Oh, this is Keith All, and welcome back. Today's tutorial is going to be a little bit shorter than the previous ones, but I thought I bring this tutorial to you today. It's going to be about creating pivot tables in Excel and then formatting them so they are printable and you could save them to your desktop or PDF or wherever you want to. But this is a data set that we're going to be using, and it's an AI generated data set. And if we come over here to our other table over here, let's decrease this so you can see the whole thing. And what this is going to be, it's going to be pre-formatted for you. We're going to create the pivot table together. And if you press Control P, you'll see that each department within this data set is going to be printable on its own sheet. And we're going to go through many different ways that you could see that the headers are printable on each and every single page, and each department is separated on each separate page also. So you're going to learn how to do all this. So let's go back here and let's create a new pivot table. Let's go back over here. Let's select anywhere within our data set, and shortcut keys are Alt N for insert and V for pivot table, and then T for from a table arrange. So we're creating this pivot table from a table arrange. So it's automatically going to detect your entire data set, including the headers, and we're just going to put it on a new worksheet. So let's go over here. So now let's create our pivot table. And again, I'm just randomly selecting metrics so you could see how you could do this, and also how you can format your pivot table, and then eventually let's print it off the way that we want to. So first of all, we want to put the department in the rows, and then we're gonna for all departments, we want to know what the main category is. So we're also going to put this right underneath department in the rows. As you can see now, we're going to start building metrics, grouping them by the department and then by this main category underneath the department. So our first metric that we want to do is we're going to do the sales value. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing here. And then we're going to be building out all these metrics, and I'll explain to you how Excel sums them or averages them or not, or whatnot. And then we're going to also format everything. And so our next thing that we want to do is, let's say that we want to get a percentage of the sales value as compared to the total value here. So let's grab sales value again, but this time we want a percentage. So what we're going to do is going to right click on here anywhere within this column. Okay, and we're going to select show values as, and we want to do it as a percent of total. So what does that mean? Percent of total. So if we take this, for example, we're going to take, let's bring up the calculator so you can see how this is actually being done. So on the Windows PC, so I'm pressing the Windows button, Windows R, and I automatically brings up the last one that I searched for, the calculator. So let's go over here and let's type in these numbers. So what percent of total means, it's going to take this value here, headphones, and divide that by the grand total. And that's how we come up with 4.86. So let's go type in the calculator over here so you can see that's actually how it's done. 48,092.82. We're going to divide that by the grand total of 989,717.91. And that's going to equal a percentage. Now let's times that by 100 to move the decimal over by 2 decimal places. Press enter to equal, and as you can see here, 4.859. Now here it's running off to that. So that's how that is being calculated. So let's close out of there. Now let's, for example, let's do the same thing with cost. Let's get cost over here, sum of cost. Okay, that's just another column that we're going to be doing. Let's also get, let's see, let's do the average cost, for example. So we could also select cost again. Let's scroll down here. And now Excel automatically takes a numeric column and sums it. So this time we want to get the average cost by department and main category. So we come over here in the bottom right, select the second cost column, and then select value field settings, and we want to average it. Okay, we do that. We could also do an average sales value too. So let's grab sales again, and let's just drop it down below here. So it puts it over here. And now we want to do the average of it. Okay, now we could do, since it sums it automatically, we could also double click on, oh, nope. Let's scroll out of there. Let's double click on the header, and we want to average it. So now it gets the average. Now let's say, let's get the order count, meaning that how many orders occurred per department, and then by the main category. So let's go to the order number. Let's drag this all the way down to the end. Let's do this again. There we go. And now we want to get the count of it, not the sum of the orders, but the count. So let's double click on here. Let's get the count here. Okay, so now we got that. So let's now format this pivot table before we go to printing. Now we want to do this. Let's change this to department. All you do is double click in there, Control A to select the whole thing, and let's type in department. Okay, now we want to change the headers here. So let's, this is going to be sales. So we could double click on that, type in sales. And now this is a percent of grand total. So this is percent of sales. Okay, now this is the average sales. Okay, let's double click on this. We could do average sales. Now the sum of cost, we could just do cost here. Okay, when I press enter, watch what happened. It says the pivot table field name already exists. What this means is the pivot table field over here, it's hidden, is already cost. So in order to get around that, we could put a space after that and then press OK, and it'll be fine. So what I mean by there's a pivot table field already named cost, so you can't name it the same thing. Okay, now we could do this average cost. Okay, now let's just call this order count. Press enter. Okay. So now based upon that, now, okay, let's start formatting other things. Now, by default, Excel puts your pivot tables in what they call a compact form. So we're going to go up to the ribbon, design, over here to the right, and then we go over to report layout in the layout group and see right now it's in compact form. Let's switch this over to tabular form and watch what changes over here. Let's go to tabular form. So what it does, instead of putting the main category in from the first column, it separates it and puts it into the next column. And so that's what that does. And and so that's one of the main differences there. So let's change these where it says accessories totals, computer totals. Let's name it a little bit differently, but watch what happens to all these other totals down here as I change this one here. So instead of, let's put total at the front, TOTAL. Okay, I didn't press enter yet, but watch what happens over here to the gaming total, home electronics total, etc. As I change this one, it's automatically going to dynamically update these other totals. So press enter. So now remember, total, the word total was at the end of the department name. Now it's at the beginning, and that's how you can change all of them all at once. Okay, now let's get rid of these expand buttons here. So let's go over to pivot table analyze up in the ribbon. Over here towards the right, it says the plus and minus buttons. So let's get rid of that. Okay. Now let's format these columns. So we go ahead and click on one of the items in the column, right click, number format, because that will change every number in this column to the format that we choose. So now this is sales, so we want it to be currency. Let's have 0 decimal places. Click OK. Now this is already formatted okay to what I would want, percentage and 2 decimal places. Again, average sales, right click, number format, currency, 0 decimal places. Okay. Cost, same thing. Number format, currency, 0 decimal places. Now the average cost per transaction, again, let's do this. Average cost, let's see, number format, currency down to 0 decimal places. And then let's put this in thousands separator. Even though all these items don't have anything above thousands, about above 1,000, but the grand total does. So let's format this. Format, number, 0 decimal places, but we want to use the thousand separator. Click OK. And as you can see down here, it put 1,000 separator for us. Now let's change this from grand total to total, which is the bottom left corner of it. And let's just click on that, go up to the formula bar, and just press enter. Okay. Let's click back in there. Okay, let's see that we got everything formatted correctly. Okay, now it's time to print this. Let's say you want to print this off and your boss will want a separate page for each individual department. The way it stands now, watch what happens. I click anywhere in here, press Control P, brings you into the print preview, And if you come down here to bottom left here, it says page 1 of 2. Why did it print off in 2 pages? Let's scroll to page 2. And as you can see, part of the pivot table was cut off. So how do we fix that? Let's go back here. If you come over here and look at this, there's a dotted dash line, okay, that's created. What that is that's the print area for this particular pivot table or page. So what it does is the print area is separated into 2. So how do we fix this? Well, we want this entire pivot table to expand the width of your page. Now, if you go here, click on, let's see, Control A, and then go to Page Layout, and there's an area over here that says Print Area. Click on that. Let's set Print Area. Okay. Now, let's go back to Control P and see it still doesn't fit it. And there's another thing that we can change to do that. And I did this on purpose so you see what's happening. See, under Print Page Layout, you have a Scale to Fit group. And what this scale is, let's bring in, as I adjust this, watch what happens to this dotted line. It'll slowly get moved over to the end, and that will be our new print area. So scale down, keep on doing it until it starts moving. Okay, now it moved the print area over to this column. And this column right here will still be cut off. Let's keep on going. And now it moved it over here. So now let's press Control P again. As you can see here, bottom left corner, page 1 of 1. So now the whole table fits onto one page. So that's how you can change that. Now our next step is, how do we get the departments to be separated on their own page? So let's go over here. Let's click onto here, department, right click, and we want to first go to field settings here. Okay. And custom main, okay, department, leave that alone. Now it says include new items. Actually, let's go to the layout and print tab. This is where we want to go. Insert page break after each item, meaning that our item that we selected is department. Once I click this, this means that in our print area, that means it's going to print each item or each department on a separate page. So let's click OK there. Let's click Control P again. And now you can see each department is separated onto its own page. Now we got 5 pages because we have 5 different departments in the pivot table. Now watch what happens when we go to page by page. On this first page, we have the table headers. Now if we scroll to each page, you can see the table headers are now missing for subsequent pages. So how do we get the table headers to appear on each page so it's more readable? Let's go back over here. Again, we select the department, right click. Instead of field settings, let's go to pivot table options. Now under printing, what we want to do is make a check mark next to set print titles. Okay. So what that means is we want to print the titles or the headers on each page. Click OK. Control P. And now let's scroll through each page. You can see now the headers are on each page as we scroll through each one of them. Okay, let's go back here. So that's the end of this tutorial. again, I hope you got value out of this, because knowing this stuff can make you very valuable in your field of working with Microsoft Excel. And whenever the boss asks you to do something, you'll be able to produce it for them in the format that they want. Thanks again for stopping by. You have a great day. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and as always, please like and share this video, because as you do that, this video will get out to more people, and I know people are looking to learn this stuff. Again, thank you. You have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.